Welcome to Baugan Inglés 4.0, the radio show with Kyle Miller. Following class by class, step by step, the material of Baugan Inglés 4.0 on Aprende Inglés TV. Class number 104. Let's go! Beginner. Hello, yes, hello, and welcome to class number 104. And we are going to begin today's class with a review, as always, como siempre, as always, with a review of yesterday's material. That is, es decir, that is class number 103. Yesterday, we were practicing with negative questions. Oh, negative answers, negative answers was, so questions with was and no, he wasn't, or no, we weren't. Was Alberto Alonso here on the radio with me yesterday? Pues no. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. He wasn't on the radio with me 10 minutes ago. Was your mother born in England? No, my mother wasn't born in England. Was Layla born in Ireland? She's from California. No, she wasn't born in Ireland. Was Manolo Escobar Canadian? No, he wasn't Canadian. Was I a famous tennis player 3 years ago? No, Kyle, no. You weren't a famous tennis player 3 years ago. Were the Beatles, John, Paul, Ringo, and George, were the Beatles popular in the 1930s? The 30s, los años 30, the 30s. Were the Beatles popular in the 30s? No. No, they weren't. They weren't. Was Iker Casillas on the radio with me yesterday? No. No, he wasn't. He wasn't on the radio with me yesterday. No, Kyle, he wasn't on the radio with you yesterday. Was I born in Madrid? No, Kyle, no. You weren't born in Madrid. Excuse me, were you a famous Formula One, F1, Formula One, like Alonso, Schumacher? Were you a famous Formula One driver 3 years ago? No, I wasn't a famous Formula One driver 3 years ago. Okay, now we can practice with questions. Now I want you at home to form the appropriate question. Okay? Ask me, pregúntame, ask me if I was in a limousine yesterday. Kyle, were you in a limousine yesterday? No, I wasn't in a limousine yesterday. Ask me if I was a radio host when I lived in Canada. Kyle, were you a radio host, locutor, a presenter or a host when you lived in Canada? Were you a radio host when you lived in Canada? Yes, I was. A little bit. Un poco. I did a little work with radio, yes. Ask me if I was popular when I was in school. Kyle, were you popular when you were in school? No, I wasn't the most popular person by any means. Not at all. I was not the most popular person. But I was average. Average, yes. Ask me if I was born in a small town. Kyle, were you born in a small town? Yes, I was. I was born in a small town. Ask me if I was born near the coast. The coast. Kyle, were you born near the coast? Yes, I was born near the coast. Ask me if I was a good tennis player when I was 12 years old. Kyle, were you a good tennis player when you were 12 years old? No, I wasn't. I wasn't a good tennis player when I was 12 years old. I wasn't. I was a better baseball player. I was not a good tennis player. No. Okay, now we have reviewed. We have reviewed the material from class number 103. So let's move on. Let's advance. First, with our word of the day. Word of the day. Yes, it is time for the word of the day. The word of the day today is above. Above, which is por encima de, or sobre, above. Now we have the V, very important. V, victory. This is like an F, but a vocalized or voiced F sound. So we have to activate the vocal cords. Victory, very good V. Above, above, por encima de, o sobre, above. I am holding my hand above the table, above. Ahora estoy tocando la mesa. My hand is on the table. My hand is on the table. When I lift my hand, it is above the table. It's not on the table. It's above the table. Okay? Now, moving ahead into class number 104, questions with were. Were you? Were we? Were they? So this is used in questions in the past and with the second person or with plurals, first person plural, second person plural, third person plural. Okay? Were you? Were you there? Were they there? Were we there? Right? Were we there? Were you there? Were they there? Were they at the party last night? Were you at the party last night? Were you on television last week? Were Natasha and Fitz on television last week? Yes, they were. Were. Okay? It's important to be able to pronounce this properly. Were. Ask me if I was here yesterday. Kyle, were you here yesterday? Kyle, were you here yesterday? Yes, I was. I was here yesterday. First person, I was here yesterday. Ask me if my parents were born in Canada. Kyle, were your parents born in Canada? Yes, my parents were born in Canada. Ask me if I was friends with Fitz 6 years ago. Kyle, were you friends with Fitz 6 years ago? Were you friends with Fitz 6 years ago? Were you and Fitz friends 6 years ago? Yes, we were. Were we friends? Yes, we were. Was I friends with Fitz? Yes, I was. Were we friends? Yes, we were. Ask me if I was friends with David 5 years ago. David Waddell. Kyle, were you friends with David 5 years ago? No, I wasn't. I wasn't friends with David 5 years ago. I didn't know him. I didn't know him 5 years ago. Ask me if I was a teacher 5 years ago. Kyle, were you a teacher 5 years ago? Yes, I was. Yes, I was. Ask me if I was a teacher 16 years ago. Kyle, were you a teacher 16 years ago? No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't a teacher 16 years ago. I was a teacher 5 years ago, but I wasn't a teacher 16 years ago. Richard was a teacher 16 years ago. Richard was a teacher 25 years ago, but I wasn't a teacher 25 years ago. Okay. Were you? Were you? Were you? Were they? Were we? Were you listening yesterday? Excuse me, were you listening at home? You can say, yes, I was. Yes, I was listening. Were you? Were you paying attention? Yes, I was paying attention. Were you studying hard? Yes, I was studying hard. Okay. Now it is time to move on. We have a translation list in a few minutes, but first it is time for our vocabulary of the day. Vocabulary of the day. Yes, that's right. It is time for the vocabulary of the day. Our 5 words of vocabulary. The first word, the verb cortar in Spanish. And in English we say to cut. To cut. Every day I cut. Yesterday I cut. Lately I have cut. Cut, cut, cut. Last week I cut my finger. Terrible experience. To cut. Sentir. Pensar. Sentir y pensar. En inglés se dice por los dos. To feel. To feel. Feel. Yesterday I felt. Yesterday I felt good. I feel good right now. I feel good. Yesterday I felt good. Conseguir. Obtener. Ooh, the king of verbs. Yes, the verb to get. Every day I get. Yesterday I got. To get. Conseguir. Obtener. Okay, to get can be passive. To receive, recibir también, to receive an email, to get an email. To obtain is a more active, obtener, obtain. But we say to get. We use to get much more often. Necesitar, to need, need. Every day I need. Yesterday I needed some help. I needed some help. Producir. Producir is to produce. To produce. Yes. Okay, there you go. We have seen, hemos visto, we have seen our 5 words of vocabulary for the day. And now it is time to move on, yes, to our translation list. Translation. Yes, that's right. It is time now for our translation list. List number 30. So, with me, out loud, en voz alta. Number 1. Él es amigo mío. He's a friend of mine. He's a friend of mine. Number 2. Yo soy amigo de él. I'm a friend of his. Amigo de él, we say of his. He's a friend of mine. I'm a friend of his. Number 3. Tú eres amigo de ella. You're a friend of hers. You're a friend of hers. Number 4. Ella es amiga tuya. She's a friend of yours. Number 5. Son amigos nuestros. They're friends of ours. They're friends of ours. Yes. Number 6. Somos amigos de ellos. We're friends of theirs. Somos amigos de ellos. We're friends of theirs. Number 7. Los míos y los de ella son parecidos. Mine and hers are similar. Mine and hers are similar. Number 8. Este es el final. This is the end. This is the end. Number 9. Los caballos son bonitos. Horses are pretty. Horses are pretty, yes. Number 10. Este no es el único. This isn't the only one. Number 11. La mujer de Pepe es muy guapa. Pepe's wife is very pretty. Pepe's wife is very pretty. Number 12. Tu problema es sencillo. Your problem is simple. Your problem is simple. Yes, your problem is simple. Very good. Okay, we are out of time. So I would like to finish the class now. I'm going to take a break, but I'll be back in a few minutes with the intermediate portion of the class. See you soon. Bye-bye.